Well, hello everyone, I'm Cassandra Donnelly from Creative Passages, and today I want to talk about how you can take a large-sized art and put it in your journal. This is my trauma journal, but concept's the same no matter what type of journal you have. It's basically just making a print for your journal. So this is my art right here, and it's a little too big for my journal. I could have put it in there and have the edges stick out, or I could have trimmed it. I've done that once and I wasn't too happy with it, and then somebody wanted to buy the art, and then I glue it back together, which I did, and she still bought it. She knew what happened. But anyway, I was like, okay, this is kind of nice, just in case anybody ever wants to sell it. But the main reason was, anyone wants to buy it, but the main reason was that actually goes this way. I didn't want to cut it, even though I made it for my trauma journal. I made it too large, and that was kind of oversight on my part. So what I did was I printed it out on awagami paper. You could use regular copy paper or a photo paper, something like that. I'm going to explain a little bit more about how I did this, and then I'm going to show you how I decorated the background for the print, and also the page behind it. And I just kind of inked it up and inked the edges, and then I made some backgrounds to match it. I basically wanted something I could write on, and I put it on the back of this page, which was this was other old artwork, and then I decorated the back in a way that I could also write on it. So that's what this video is going to be about. You're going to watch me talk about, how I printed this out and put it in there. You're going to watch me put it in there and then decorate these backgrounds right here. So stay tuned. That's the origami paper. It comes in that huge size right there. I purchased it from Jerry's Artorama, and it comes in the size of about 22 inches by 31 inches. And you can see what the quality of the paper is like. This is great for printing. It's very nice. So I have to look up and see. I don't know if it's possible to go that far back, because I purchased it in 2/21/23. I find it's good for me to keep track of when I bought my supplies, so I can kind of see how old they were if I need to look back and find it for reference. So I recommend this for printing. Another name for it is masa papers. So you can see what I've done is cut this down into printer paper size, and then I printed it on to this sheet of paper. So the original is 9 inches and a little bit past 6 inches, so 9 by 6. And so what I can do then, rather than cut this up, which I could do, but then I really thought about it and I would lose a lot of details, and I don't think I would like it as much. Okay, and I obviously forgot that it was too big for my journal, or maybe I planned to cut it originally because I got the back on there, but I don't want to cut it up. Like, maybe somebody will want to buy it someday, and the thing is, like, that's not even the most important thing, is I just don't want to cut it. But the solution to that is I printed on this awagami paper, which is a little nicer quality than regular printer paper, and I cut this down by the printer paper size, and then I printed this out to 5 by 7 inches. 5 by 7 inches is nice because I can put it in my trauma journal, which is 5.5 by 8.5 inches. And now what I can do is I can cut this paper down to size, or I can cut this out and put it on new paper, like maybe watercolor paper. I have this nice quality print here. I have my full artwork intact without trimming any of the edges, and then maybe what I'm thinking about is putting a nice little washi border, some kind of decorative border around it. I'll still have a lot of room to do that. So what I want to do is glue this down here and have like a border. but I don't want to mess this up, so I want to like spray this. Even though you're only going to see the edges, I'll try not to waste my spray. Alright, so I'm speeding things up so you don't get bored. The speed is about 10 times faster than the original, and I'm using Distress Oxide sprays and inks to make my background and picking out colors that I like. These are the Tim Holtz Rangers Distress Oxide inks and sprays. I'm using both. And I'm just trying to match my picture, and what I'm doing is spraying my mat and then adding water and then dabbing my picture into it. And I'm drying in between my layers so that my colors don't get muddy. That other piece of paper that you see is scrap paper. I'm using it to sop up the extra paper, the extra color before I move on to another color, because I don't want anything to go to waste. And that piece will be a scrap paper. So now what I'm doing is getting to the other side, and I decided I want to take my coffee and make it a coffee background. But ultimately I decide the coffee is not dark enough, and wherever there was like splashes and blemishes on the background didn't cover it up adequately, so I'm adding more Distress Oxide inks and sprays to the other side as well. Of course, I'm drying it in between the different colors, especially if they're not compatible colors that I was using. So now I'm inking up the edges to this to match my the theme of the color on the other side, which was blue. And looking at it, trying to decide, does it need anything? I'm thinking about adding that ribbon there, but I decide against it. So now that I have my background, I'm just going to go ahead and glue my awagami photo printout onto my background. And now what I'm doing is decorating the other side with some washi that I thought matched really nice. It fit better on this back side than it did on the front side, I thought. I just couldn't really get it on the front side because the sides were different in width than the top and the bottom. So now I just thought I needed a little bit more pop of the blue and a little bit more pop of the yellow. And drying it again. And now I want to actually put it in my journal, so I'm using this master reference I have with the holes there so I can cut it, and I am going to add some grommets to it because I love the grommets because they look so professional, although I'm realizing that they're so bulky and I just don't know what to do because my trauma journal is almost all filled up. So here it is. That's the back side of my picture. My picture is called The Struggle, by the way. So there it is. That is the struggle. And this is my photo on the awagami paper of my artwork. And so you can see how it looks in there. You can see the page next to it with the distressed printable in the washi. And how they look together. I try to coordinate the colors. And then this is what the back looks like. Very pleased, and I put it next to this other old artwork that I made. So that is the end of this video. Thank you for taking the time to watch it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that maybe you'll be inspired to include more artwork or photos in your journal, even if it's too large. Bye, and be blessed.